Warning, what you are about to hear are the thoughts of four ordinary dudes with no agenda and absolutely no filter. Try not to get butthurt.
We're starting too high. And we're going to continue to get higher. To Mars, baby. To Mars.
Sparks. Aliens.
I ain't afraid no aliens.
Human detected.
Ah, shit.
Hey, dudes. It's Jimmy.
What's up, guys? It's Maddie.
What's up? It's John.
What's up, dudes? It's Billy, and welcome back to the Dude to Dude podcast. But yeah, I know Jimmy had a conversation point that he wanted to talk about this week.
Yeah. So,
Blame the Gremlins.
well, I mean, first and foremost, if you don't believe in gremlins, have you even lived on Earth?
I mean, I have two of them at home.
Well, I'm not talking crotch gremlins.
Right, not crotch gremlins.
Well, I got one. The other currently at his mom's house, but yeah, same thing.
I mean, I don't know if I believe in gremlins. Why?
You've never had a pair of socks randomly go missing? Or just, your left sock go
Or
missing?
a sock just disappear.
Right.
You think the fucking dryer eats the socks?
Your audio issues whenever you go to stream?
Well, that's called having a lower end laptop. I mean, it's a Mac, but it's still just a Mac laptop.
I don't know. The fact that you have to set it up and pull your hair out every single fucking time. It's a little sus. All I'm saying.
You're not wrong.
Pull your hair out.
Shitty internet, being in the basement. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's really not the issue. The internet, believe it or not, is not the issue with me with my audio.
But anyways, I don't know if I actually believe in gremlins either. But
Okay.
some shit, you can't explain a sock when it goes missing. Unless your dryer just eats it somehow.
But they do. You know that's like an actual thing, right?
Really?
yeah, they break down and disintegrate.
Well, not only that, but around the edge of your dryer, there's a little gap.
The void.
And socks will get stuck in there, and then as they're spinning, they get kind of pulled into it. So yeah, if you take your dryer apart, you'll probably find a good chunk of socks and maybe some money and some other stuff.
That is true. In the apartment complex, when I used to fucking tear apart shit to fucking take it to
Okay,
the
so
dump.
so all these years I thought I've been going crazy because I'm losing fucking socks.
No.
Turns
you
out.
There's actually a logic. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're losing them more often than regular, you might just need a new seal on your dryer.
Okay.
Fun fact of the day, kids.
Well, I
Dryers
have a brand
actually
new
eat
dryer
socks.
now, so I mean,
There you go.
I loved the money part because I found a fucking $100 bill in a dryer one
Nice.
time. And I was like,
That's a good
Yeah.
little bonus right there.
Hell yeah. it
you'd
is.
find crumpled up ones, $5 bills, all kinds of shit, man. I used to keep a mason jar at the apartment complex, and I'd just fill it up with shit, and that's how I bought lunch on Fridays.
Nice. That's the way to do it, dude.
Took forever to get $20 when all you're finding is crumpled up ones, but it was money.
That it is. No, that wasn't the subject I thought you wanted
absolutely.
to talk about. Okay.
But there's some shit that Gremlins would just explain very, very well. That's all I'm saying. But so people have claimed that some people, anyways. I can't name names and stuff right off the top of my head because I
John.
should have pulled sources, but I did not.
I may have said some things at some
At some
point.
point.
Well, no,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Gremlins.
I know you've said some things.
But there's some common theories about aliens and stuff, and one of them is that they could possibly be future humans.
I've heard that.
Stealing socks?
Either A, running us as a simulation, or B, having to come back for source material or code or something.
And the more advanced this AI shit gets, the more I'm starting to believe we actually live in a fucking simulation.
Great.
Because once there's a point where an complete AI program, algorithm, whatever the fuck it is, can generate something that we cannot distinguish from reality, we're fucked. We are fucked.
Yeah, but do you really think that it's going to be able to distinguish, like, to make something that we can't distinguish?
Give it enough time to learn, Bill.
So here's the thing: is
Skynet.
and I
Fucking
because
Matrix, dude.
me
Any
and
of
Jimmy
it.
had talked about this a couple days ago, so I watched a couple of videos, and one of the things that kind of stuck out to me is like on the base level. Sure, I think possible, like this basement being rendered in because we're here looking at it, observing it. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the molecular particles that also exist within the same space at all points in time. So, like, for this table to exist as is, fine, easy to render. But for this table to exist on the molecular level that we know it exists at, not easy to render. Like
With our current understanding, though.
the computing power, it just seems so unreasonable that it would be able to do
So, okay, hang on. Let me make sure I understand you correctly. The ability to see all of this being rendered easy. The ability to actually interact with all of this and observe what this shit is actually made of at its base components, not so easy to render.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And
I can understand that.
And then not only that on the small level, but on the very large level of like
The grand scale of like the universe
galaxies
and shit.
and yeah. And given galaxies are kind of easier to like push to the side because
They're so far away.
yeah, in a video game, if you're only looking at the thing, in a video game, you only render in what you're actually looking at. And because galaxies are so far away, we're not observing them at all points in time. Kind of get it.
Okay, but can you tell me what is the difference between reality and a virtual reality?
Having 3 friends that are stoners.
Welcome to virtual reality.
I guess.
Got 'em.
I mean, Maddie, what would you say on that?
I'm going to be really pissed if I'm some AI generated bullshit. Y'all could have done a lot better.
No, I mean, I agree with that. We all could be generated a hell of a lot better. But what Jimmy was asking, like, what's the difference between reality and artificial reality?
Reality is what you make it, man.
Well,
I
that's
mean-
a whole different philosophical conversation.
I don't know. I might actually
Is
have
it
to-
though? Why can't it be a part of this conversation? Because technically, as Bill pointed out, things don't seem to be the way they are until we actually observe them. Which, going to that point, Bill, kind of the same deal as your concept of observing the universe or galaxies at far away points, you know, rendered easily because we're not looking at it all the time and it's far away. Could also be applied to the small scale. We're not always looking at it, so we don't know what the fuck's going on. We're understanding more about the quantum realm and realizing that we don't understand the fucking basic principles of physics as we already known them for hundreds of years because of what we're seeing.
That's very true.
Everything, the more we observe and the more we learn about our world, the more we realize we don't know shit. And that's what blows my mind about all of it.
Pretty sure that might be the drugs you do.
I was looking for a nice succinct answer, but
Well, all right.
You're
So
talking to us, Chim. Come on, you're not going to get a nice succinct answer.
I think the difference between reality and artificial reality is going to be the fact that you knowingly enter it.
I would also say that a large difference between artificial reality and the reality that we perceive is the amount of computing power that our brains are able to quantify at the levels in which our brain outputs things. Because if you look at them from a computing standpoint of using an AI-generated program, you're able to generate more using that program than we actually utilize from the capacity of our frontal lobe in our brain. We only use...
Whoa. What?
Well, maybe not the frontal lobe. Okay, I'm not that fucking scientific. However, humans only use about 80% of their brain. If we were to truly maximize and utilize 100% of the capability of the human brain, we could probably perceive
We'd be
things
Charles
a lot
Xavier.
different.
So that's a myth. Humans use 100% of their brain.
Just not all at the same time.
Yeah. People used to think it was like
10%.
But
Yeah, it was some really
Maddie
low
hinted
percent.
on the answer I was looking for.
at the beginning of it. You were fucking.
Oh
spot
yeah, you
on.
were
Yeah.
you were off, dude, and then
So
you kind of belly
yeah,
flopped there a little bit.
Blow me.
the easiest way to say it is that the only difference between a
My balls itch.
reality and virtual reality is the amount of data that can be processed and transmitted.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you said. You just started to trail off a little bit on a tangent.
It'd be like that.
So
Still a little
it's-
strong there for you, Maddie.
as far as that's concerned with our technology and our AI and all this shit advancing as well and as fast as it has been.
Because we have aliens.
In shit, I'd hazard to guess like within 40 years.
You think?
Within 40 years, people are gonna we're gonna have virtual reality games that are indistinguishable.
Ready Player One,
I think.
And you said the difference for you would be to
knowingly going.
knowingly enter.
Mhm.
Who's to say that when you were born, or before you were born, you didn't knowingly enter
a game.
a game?
Okay, so here's the
Man,
thing.
this game sucks.
Here's the thing though, is consciously I don't know that, so it's just my reality. It's not an artificial reality because it's the only reality that I know. Now, whereas like if you take mushrooms, you're entering an artificial reality because it's a reality that you know is different from your normal reality. That's how I
Is
look
it
at
different from your
But
normal
see-
reality,
But
or is that
see? Yeah,
Are we going to a different reality when
No,
we take
so-
mushrooms?
yeah, I was
or
about
are
to
we
say.
opening
Grasping-
our small minds and small visual spectrum that we can see, hearing spectrum that we can hear, and everything that goes along with that as far as our senses? Are we opening our senses more to take in more of the
we're
information
altering.
that's
So
available
we're
to
not
us?
changing our reality. We're altering the way we perceive and interact with
Right.
our reality.
So-
okay, so I agree on that. I disagree on this. So if you were to say DMT, I would say yes, because for the most part you are sharing a trip that is for the most part the same as everyone else, for the most part. Whereas with mushrooms, everyone has their own trip. It's different for everybody.
Well, yeah, but
Everyone
how-
can take the same mushrooms at the same dose and have a different trip.
Man, I want to be a fly on the wall for that and just watch you all.
there's got to be some
Just
reason
sit there with a
for
notebook.
that, though. Like, do mushrooms often contain DMT?
No.
No,
I mean, everything contains DMT, but not to a point, and your body can't process it when you eat it like that.
the interesting thing though
So-
is the component in mushrooms that makes you hallucinate.
Psilocybin.
Yes, gets broken down into the body into usable psilocin.
Now, psilocin and DMT are very similar.
They have very similar effects on the body and the mind. And they just so coherent. They just so
Yeah, I
so
know.
coincide
Sorry,
to the
bud.
same dosages. The same dosage range of each will get you to
The same level.
the effect. Yes, to the certain effects.
See, but that's and
They're just
Maddie,
one-
I know this conversation is like
I'm fucking
off the
lost.
book, so yeah, sorry, but like as someone who's taking mushrooms a couple of times and taking DMT a couple of times, I would say that they are very, very different trips.
I can agree
Very,
with
very
that.
different.
I can agree with that because I've taken mushrooms several times, different trips every time. None of them like DMT. But see, that's like, I feel like that's a lot of things with a lot of drugs, though. A lot of people are affected by different things differently. The only thing that affects anybody the same would be DMT. And that would be the opening your mind to the actual reality. Whereas everything else just opens our minds to whatever reality is being portrayed to us.
So I was with you right up until the point at the very end, where I think DMT is a different reality that anyone who takes it can perceive, whereas like mushrooms or acid are an altered state of this reality. Very similar to like putting on a pair of VR headsets.
I mean, you
So-
basically said the same thing, but just
So
different
you're
words.
saying
Okay, then maybe I just misunderstood.
So you're
Right.
saying
the way
you don't
said
agree
it.
with him basically saying though that DMT is base reality.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. So he's saying DMT is base reality. I think this is base reality, and I believe that DMT is another reality, another dimension, if you will.
I mean, see, that's
That's cached.
That's why I had you pass it to
So
him because I figured you weren't even gonna hit it.
So I think this is our reality, as in like we were born to this reality. This is the reality we all know. Matt, never taking DMT, thinks that we're talking fucking complete crazy fucking religious bullshit at this point.
No, so this conversation really reminds me of like when I pick up somebody that speaks a different language when I do Uber and they try to communicate. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And they're like,
well, considering we're
I
speaking
mean,
English, Maddie, what are your thoughts and insights into this, considering you are a sober-minded individual that's never experienced any of this crazy shit?
Nor researched it. So like what are you hearing?
so
And it's okay, you can call us crackpots, dude. We know we are.
I was gonna say
I'm definitely a
to be
nutcase.
honest, without ever experiencing it and having no interest in experiencing it, I just feel like you guys
A bunch of druggies.
Druggy.
fucking you put yourself into an altered mind state that thinks you gain a higher level of knowledge of something, but in essence you're just maybe engaging but also not. You can't perceive the level of can't think of the word. Basically, putting yourself in that altered state of mind, you're engaging a part of your brain that doesn't normally get engaged. However, as your brain kind of functions, you can't perceive what it is you're actually experiencing. So for you, it gives you the perception of kind of an alternate reality, but it's not. It's fuck. The words are like there, but I can't.
No, you're making a lot of sense, man. And exactly, I mean it.
You
What
just
you're
can't
saying makes it
comprehend.
clear
You can't
and-
comprehend it.
Yeah, you make a comprehensive point. And I disagree with you, and I'm going to say you've never taken DMT. It's not.
We're talking
Have you-
about
have you- have
crazy
you-
spiritual trips.
Let me-
Maddie's
let-
talking about us laying slack on the
No,
couch.
let's
no,
just
no, yeah,
let's just start here. Have you taken a hallucinogenic in the past of any kind? Like,
No.
no? Okay.
So let me just start off with very, very different than a DMT trip. DMT trip is you're literally laying down and you're out for 10, 15 minutes tops, usually shorter than that. And it's like you're taking a nap.
And it's not, you're not actually even
And having a
unconscious
very
or taking a nap.
vivid dream, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're very much awake.
Like
You're-
if someone
but
were to
you're
make a
just laying
noise
there.
or shake you, you would be like snap open and be like, what the fuck do
Be
you
fine.
want?
Yeah. Whereas mushrooms,
Yeah,
You're still in this reality the whole time, man. Whereas in DMT, you're not. It's so hard to describe until you've done it.
Which I won't.
No,
you can't even describe it even after you've done it.
Yeah, it's ineffable. Jimmy said that.
So to
and
me,
it stuck with me.
with John saying you can't describe it even after you've went through it. So to me, that just makes me think that the chemical composition of the DMT just made you have a dream. You weren't actually in a state of...
But I can describe my dreams.
So, okay.
I could describe my dreams too if I have a vivid one.
But here's the thing.
I've had sex with like fucking like Pamela Anderson.
Well,
but this is going to the point though, Maddie.
But why is his dream the same as my dream, as his dream, as our other buddy's dream, as our other buddy's dream, as 90% of people who do DMT? Why are we having the same type of dream?
I can't speak for the other, like you said, 90%. But the people in your friend group, from the different conversations you have and the similarity of the conversations you have, similar interests, thoughts, ideals.
You think there's subconscious implantation?
Yes. Which can
Totally understandable.
Which can lead you to have those kind of recollectful dreams, and then having that conversation, and then maybe getting like a subliminal like implementation like in your brain of, oh my God, like I experienced that too. And then it's like
Now,
Inception.
So look at it this way, like if you tell a lie, not saying that like what you guys are just using as an example. So if you tell a lie long enough, routinely enough, it becomes fact in your mind, and then you start to believe that lie. So kind of building off
totally understandable.
that kind of premises.
Now here's the thing. What's the main character that most people see during a DMT trip? What when you had your DMT trip, what was your character that you saw?
I don't know if I ever what you guys would call broke through.
Yeah,
so I didn't experience.
You can break through without seeing entities. But
well, I did not experience.
So
any entities.
I was gonna say the jester, right?
not everybody sees everything.
I mean, if you want to talk about that, when I had that waking trip,
Yeah.
when I was just staring at you guys tripping, you looked like the fucking jester. And man, were you funny looking.
Yeah, but is that before or after
Now-
you had a conversation of Billy and Billy having a trip where he pictured that?
Matt, let me finish. So that was just the start of it. Most people see entities, and the jester is a very prominent one. Aurelia tried it. I had never had a conversation with her about the jesters, never even come close to it, didn't talk to her anything about it. She woke up and she described the thing, and me and Jimmy were like, "Oh, is this what you saw?" And pulled up a picture, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's it." So it's
So even someone who's never even talked about this subject before
didn't
is
even
having
know
the
what a
same
jester
thing.
was called.
And
Didn't even know that they existed. Didn't know that like court jesters were a thing. Never seen one before in her life.
I don't know. I just
Yo, she didn't know what a jester was?
No, she had no idea, dude.
Damn. I see. I at least know what they are, like medievalized. Or happen to be like one of my favorite classes to play in fucking Gauntlet Legends. I think it was for fucking
yeah.
GameCube.
But it's shit like that, and like that's just one person that we know. But this happens to most people that try DMT.
And like even the transitional periods of the trips are reported similarly, and like it's
Like most people start out in some sort of
Party
kaleidoscope
room.
party room is what we call it. Yeah, it's
That's
like
what a
you're
lot
in
of
big
people call it.
kaleidoscope.
yeah. The more you guys describe shit, the more I'm like, nah, it's a panic attack. I don't want.
Well, yeah,
Oh, it definitely was.
There's certain people
So-
that shouldn't do it.
a lot of people have a lot of anxiety even after they've done it once, twice, 3 times, 8 times, 20 times. Like they still like
I'm
could have that
cautious of
shit
it.
on hand, go look at it, and be like, "Nah, not today, dog." Like,
For real.
and
I feel like the level of post traumatic stress of the shit that I went through growing up would just manifest doing like true psychedelic shit like that, where I don't want to know. I'm done.
And that's fine, dude. And you know us. We'll never pressure you into trying anything like that, dude. It's
the best way I can describe it is like you literally have to lose, like to be okay to not have anxiety before, like pre-flight anxiety is what they call it.
You have to be okay with dying.
You have to be like no attachments to life. Like be okay with like just being like, yeah, whatever. Like I'm for going or like being just completely free will. Hey, I'm going for a fucking ride. No, I'm about to go for a ride. Like
So with what Bill said, and with the extreme close calls that I've had, and the true near-death experiences that I've had, I don't think I ever told you guys, but I was actually resuscitated in an ambulance twice. I like flatlined twice on the way to the hospital.
so you have tripped on DMT.
You just don't remember.
One, I vividly described to my parents a grandfather I never got to meet. And then another time, you just feel like falling. So to me, the first time I felt like
DMD.
it was more or less like the first time, like when I saw and had a conversation with my grandfather was telling me, not yet. Like, you're not supposed to be here yet. And like, I can like remember almost being like, feeling as being shoved, but yanked at the same time. And it brought me back. And I remember seeing my dad in the ambulance, fucking paramedics and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like 13. Then the next time where people were like, oh my God, like you feel like you like see a light, you feel drawn to it. I remember pitch black and feeling like I was falling forever. And the longer that I fell, it felt like a piece of me melted away. Like there was less and less of me that was having like the gravitational pull of like what I felt back. I didn't see my grandfather, and it just felt like going, and it just got darker and darker and darker. Then pitch black, and I woke up in the hospital.
The second one sounds like a DMT trip. The first one, I thought you didn't believe in ghosts and shit, bro.
Ghosts?
Dude, if I had an experience like that, my outlook would probably be a whole ton different.
Right.
For real.
It's because of my mom, the amount of bullshit that she does with that whole ghost shit is why, from like the capacity a lot of that people think of ghosts, I don't believe in. But I believe very, very strongly in energy. If you go to a place where there was a lot of fucking dark shit that fucking happened, there's going to be negative energy. That negative energy just doesn't dissipate. Too much, people would say too much evil occurred, and there's going to be evil spirits.
I was about to say, but
And
is that actually the energy at that site, or is that your preconceived notion going to that site?
Are you subliminally implanted?
I would disagree. So I was dragged to Rolling Hills Asylum because of my dad. My dad was very, very active in the ghost fucking bullshit here in Rochester, the huge community that there is. And I got dragged to Rolling Hills. Didn't know what the fuck the place was. Didn't know what it's about. Didn't know what happened there. And like there are parts of that place, like where you'll stand, where like there's an overencumbrance of just like your soul hurts. Like you can feel your soul wanting to weep.
So that's what I was going to say. Like you ever been in a place where you just feel uneasy, where you just feel...
Oh, I've
right?
definitely like had my hair stand up and shit. Like, so like, but I was just for the sake of argument was like, because a lot of the times like you don't just go to a place without hearing about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, agree.
And Maddie, I was going to ask you, what age were you when you like...
Like 14, 15.
So right after the near-death experience,
Yeah.
Dad drags you to
Well, his mom owns the fucking one of the most haunted houses in all. of New
I
York.
understand, but like...
Supposedly haunted, but I have grown up in that house. All the fucking entities.
Okay,
and-
so you
Alright.
fell off in the asylum, but not at your house. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the
It's
thing.
an old
Fair enough.
creaky fucking house. So like if you're in dark and it's fucking windy outside and the house fucking makes noises and shit and you're in the middle of the fucking nowhere, that will generate uneasiness.
Here's the thing, though.
But the amount of drugs people do and the amount of drugs my mother's done in her life.
If you take the scientific method and you also take what people call proof of ghosts and you apply the scientific method to those proof methods, Your mom's house is haunted. I've watched enough videos on it. Like
Ghosts.
Well, I mean, apparently I have a fear box in my fucking bathroom.
Oh,
Whatever
what?
that means.
What is that?
I don't know. Josh told me the other day. He was because we were on Messenger. I set my phone down on the sink, and he was like, "Oh, your screen's doing funny shit. You got a fear box in your bathroom."
No.
And I'm like,
It's the light. 'Cause we figured out the light thing.
Josh is really into the fucking paranormal shit like
Is
that.
he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. He fucking.
That's why
He
he's
loves
a
that shit.
horror
Yeah.
freak.
Really? I had no idea.
Oh, he loves that horror movie stuff.
You think he's being hunted by a ghost?
I hope not. I don't know what fucking ghost would be haunting him. He didn't kill nobody or do any wrong. He done like what the fuck?
Well, we did play with some Ouija boards and shit growing up.
You did what?
And see, and those to me are fucking bullshit.
I don't
because,
remember
like,
that. What the fuck? What?
Why are you in my house right now?
What do you mean?
I've done
You
Ouija
heard
boards
exactly
and
what I'm
shit.
saying.
What do you mean?
You hear the words that are coming out of my mouth.
You want me to leave your house because I played with a Ouija board when I
I'm
was younger?
seriously considering it.
Do you
Bill's
hear
wa-
how stupid?
My mom
Bill's
used to,
watch dragged me to hell one too many
Just fucking
times.
with
my mom used to force me to do that shit with her.
What?
Yeah.
You too?
Yep.
You?
Well, that's why
if
you
I
don't
did, I don't
like 'em.
remember, Bill.
Y'all are bad luck. Y'all are bad
Well,
luck.
yeah. Have you met us? Hi. Nice
Actually,
to meet you.
I
I'm
got
John.
decent luck, I think.
Don't touch me.
Like, not to fucking jinx myself now, you know.
If you're gonna do it
Knock
right.
on some wood.
Do it
But,
right.
But I don't know. For me, I believe very strongly in energy.
see,
Past, present, and fluid energy. Fluid energy being a mixture of all things that have come and gone. And people say, like, oh, some people think you go to heaven or hell. And to me, I think we all just return to where we came from. And that's the void and the vacuum of which energy leads to life. Energy leads to death. That energy just doesn't evaporate. It's not, you're not opening an oven and the steam
that's
just coming
the law
out
of
and dissipating.
thermodynamics.
I was about to
Well,
say, been there, seen that.
So, all right, but let's get back on the whole like Matrix thing. What?
Yeah.
If you-
So
hold
I
on.
was actually
If-
going to refute, like, why are you so adamant that DMT is not based reality?
I'll give me a second on that. So, if you take a picture on your computer and you delete it, what happens to it?
It's still there.
Right. It's like a base energy, right?
It's the interwebs.
So, I mean,
All your dick pics are still there.
spirits or energy or the DMT realm.
Actually, there's a more technical explanation for that, and I'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Maybe it's all
OnlyFans.
maybe it's all one and the same. Is all I'm saying.
It
Now-
could be. Taking DMT could engage a parcel of your brain that can connect to the living energy that binds and surrounds us. I just sounded like
Well-
fucking Yoda.
Well, yeah,
But-
you call it the living energy. Other people
That was
call
great.
it.
I like that.
You know,
There you go, Maddie. Be free a little bit. Think about shit. Like we're just spitball. We're like none of us are like hardcore believers in fucking anything. I don't
Anything.
Pretty
think.
much.
nothing.
No agenda, no
There's-
filter, folks.
There's no hurt in just sitting around and philosophizing sometimes.
Philip philosophizing.
Philosophizing. Yep.
Philosophizing.
I'm trickerish sometimes with my words.
Philosophizing? Is that it? Philosophizing?
And I guess for me on a personal level, I might have a-
Philosophizing.
There it is. That's it. That was the word.
Go, man.
I might be more open to the whole like ghost shit and more of the paranormal stuff if it wasn't so fucking railroaded on both sides growing up. Like my mother, even though her and I are estranged right now, even though I'm estranged with her, my brother, all of them, I love them, but the poor choices that they've made and the amount of, I feel like drugs play a big influence in a lot of people like that. To where they'll get that false sense of reality because they're too stuck on the microbial things that they've allowed themselves to believe that there's actually no fact basis behind it. And that's why I've always had a strong issue with the whole ghost shit at my grandparents' house.
Now, what if they look at you from the opposite end of the spectrum and they say because you don't do any drugs that you can't see what they see?
Yeah, you're shallow minded.
That's okay though, because I can also hold down a job.
Nope.
There you go.
Damn!
There you go.
Fair
Singer
enough.
on the whole
That was
fam.
the fucking. Let me fucking Trump real quick.
I'm not a person. I strive to never look at somebody and hold myself to a greater standard. But when I look at the bullshit that I remember from growing up, and look at all the shit that we were encouraged and try to grow out of and try to be something, I can very often feel like I'm the only one of my mother's blood children that has attempted to even make something of themselves. Instead of using the trauma and the other bullshit to be stuck.
Good for you, dude.
Like, I don't have the world's greatest fucking job right now. I have a good job. I work for a pretty good company. But I pulled myself up from the bootstraps. I didn't let my mother's drug habits making us have to move 6, 7, 8 times in the course of a year and shit like that.
They're all there Democratic Watch.
Yeah, okay. So here's
said
the,
to
here's
pull
the
up
thing,
by
though,
the
Maddie. is, like,
bootstraps.
that's just something we got to do as men, dude. Like, my dad was a heroin addict, died of a heroin overdose, and, like, got a decent job, pulled my bootstraps up. Like, that's just something we do as men.
No, I know.
Never met
But-
my dad.
And
Don't let
I
that
just
shit control you.
No, I try not to. It bugs me because it's played such a big factor and as to why I broke off those relationships.
Fuck them,
And
dude.
I told them they were dead to me because my brother could never get past the same stupid fucking bullshit and wanting to be fucking dumb and whatnot. My mom couldn't, be an adult. You know, my sister, she's doing better, hasn't been able to make a life and a life for her children. You know,
There's
and
no-
they use those crutches to be like, oh, well, this has it out for me, and that's how my life is, and da-da-da-da. And then it plays into all their stupid other factorial fucking fantasies of being in a haunted house on a haunted property where there was witches and there's demons, there's bones in the wall.
But here's the
like,
thing,
get
dude.
fucked.
If it's your mom's way of making money, why are you fucking down in there for it?
Sounds like you're hating her for a hustle, and I don't think you should hate her for a hustle.
For real, dude. And especially if you know it's a hustle.
I guess for me, I feel like it brings shame. Shame on multiple factors. Shame on the legacy of my grandfather that did nothing but take children that were not his children and raised them because my mother was too busy chasing an 8-ball or wanting to get fucked up with all of her fucking friends
How does that shame your grandfather?
because of everything that my grandfather stood for. Everything that my grandfather built along the premise of that the house and the property that he had. My mother took it and turned it into a gimmick and shattered my grandfather's legacy of giving us something that we would always have and have a sense of home.
So your
we
gra-
no longer have that sense of home. She has shamed the honor of my grandfather and everything that my grandfather put into helping raise us children so we could be
No.
better. We
Where-
could build lives for ourselves.
Where I don't want to belittle you on that, dude, it honestly just sounds like you're really fucking butthurt over what your mom did. And your house is still there. There's no shame on the house. You look at it in shame, but I don't think anyone else does.
Your grandfather
it's-
built a house?
Yeah.
So there's no way it's fucking haunted then.
It's,
Well, he built half the house. The house was originally standing in the 1950s or whatever
it's
when
an
he
old
bought it.
farmhouse that got additions
Oh.
put on.
But they're trying to say that like the witches used to hold seances and do all kinds of other shit and this, that, third, that like an old serial killer lived in the house and buried his fucking people that he murdered and shit in the walls. And
You know, good sage cleansing will take great care of that, right?
I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Like I don't want to belittle your feelings at all because you have a right to feel however you feel. But I think a lot of it is exactly that. It's how you feel about the situation and how you think other people perceive the situation. I don't think there's shame on your grandfather's house. I think your mom found a hustle and she's rolling with it.
it leads to another thing though. Is like I don't I'm a very open, honest person.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe in cheating and bullshitting people and creating a level of bullshit that encompasses your entire family. Like, my mother's given my name to people that broadcast shows all across the country saying I've said and I've done these things, I've encountered these things. So like that plays a big factor.
Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
defamation.
That's
of character.
hearsay.
I had
That's
to
defamation of
threaten
character.
to sue somebody that reached out to me and was like, "Oh, we need to set a time to go over all of your experiences that you experienced at that house growing up." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" "Oh, we're airing the show in a couple weeks, and I just wanted to make sure we get this stuff right." And I'm like, I don't know how I have to tell you this, but if you call my fucking number again, and if I see my name being used or a factoidal of my presence at all in any of this, I will own your fucking company. And they had to leave me alone.
Well, yeah.
Because my mother has spun such a twine of horseshit. Like, she told me that I woke up and was speaking fluent German or some shit because of a spirit, and I'm like, that never happened.
Well, again, what your mother calling you, like, if she's just making up shit and using your name, that's different. That's fucked up. As far as like the house goes, meh, is what it is. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Just laughing goes into it, man. You
Yeah.
asked.
Sorry. But,
So,
Love you.
Matrix, interdimensionals. That
oh
kind
yeah.
of thing.
What was your question to me?
Why are you
Sorry,
so
folks.
adamant that DMT can't be base reality? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm asking.
I'm not saying that it can't be. I just don't think that it is. I think this is our base reality. I think we live in this reality, which makes it our base reality. I think that the majority of our time is spent in this reality, which makes it our base reality. I think that we are born into it and die from it, which makes it our base reality. We don't know what happens after. If we knew what happened after, if we absolutely knew that we had DMT trip with it when we were born, when we died, maybe a different story. But those are conjecture.
So, what do you believe in after, Bill?
I don't know. Genuinely don't know.
Because if this is base reality, then we die. That's basically it, in my opinion. That's it.
Playing
Blackness.
off of some of the beliefs I have with like my ancestors and like the Norse culture, part of me wants to believe that an essence of me will go on to live with my ancestors that have passed. That one day I will be able to sit down and have a godchild sitting across from the kitchen table in my grandfather's house and listen to him tell his stories again. But another part of me believes that I'm just going to return to the dirt from whence I came, and my energy that helps make up my corporeal being is going to be passed back out into the world and furnish new life or death.
Yeah. I mean, that's as far as I can actually know, is that like me as a human being, when I die, my body will become part of the earth and part of other animals again. Just is what it is. That's
And
what
that's
I know.
when you go along to live on to be a woodchuck until they shit you up. And then you be a sunflower until you fucking wilt. And then you're going to be a bird flying in the air until they poop out the pebble.
Well, I mean, you might be a sunflower seed that gets roasted, and then you're part human again.
And they have me in their mouth.
It's like cannibalism.
So, wanted to try to refute a couple of your points there, Bill.
So, that's all reincarnation, then, is what you're thinking.
So,
Yeah, in a sort.
like you said, with the boring birth and death, and I mean, it is speculation, but it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if it's speculation on death, because I think they might have actually tested it by now, so we might have to look that one up. But we're here for a long time, you said? Time is very relative, my
I
friend.
never said we're here.
We're here
long
for a good time, not a long
I said
time.
we're here for our majority of our time. We're in this reality. For most of our time, we are in this reality.
For most of us, most of our time, we're in this, or all of our time, we're in this reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt's never left it. Matt's never taken DMT. He's never left this reality.
No,
I've died a
but
couple times.
Have you put on a virtual reality headset?
is Matt's
No, but I
reality
think
the
that'd be
same
dope.
as your reality?
We share a same reality. what we both view might be different, but we share the same reality.
Don't be looking at my wife naked.
So let me ask you that then there, Bill. If we all perceive this reality differently, how can this be base reality?
What do you mean?
Base reality, by definition, should be base and the same throughout.
Should not be able to be perceived any other way than it is.
Okay. Do you feel that, correct?
I know they touched each
I
other.
perceive that I feel that, yes.
Right.
Okay,
And we're
with your point earlier, though, on a molecular level, you're not touching.
We're sharing this perception. This is a shared base reality. I'm just saying that's what it is. We are sharing that perception of reality. That's what makes it a shared base reality.
That moment that was simultaneously perceived by both of you was real.
Agreed.
It's not to say,
That it's in the base reality.
right.
Why
And you
not?
fuckers have lost me. I'm just
Why not?
fucking-
We're having a conversation right now. We're sharing that perception.
Correct.
Matthew.
But that's because I understand the sound waves that your mouth are making, and you understand the sound waves that my mouth are making. I'm saying on a molecular level, you guys weren't even touching.
Okay, fine. Yes, agreed. But now you're fucking nitpicking and being stupid.
Not
that's,
nitpicking and
that's
being
using
stupid.
that scientific
No,
method you were
you're
just
just
talking about earlier,
perceiving
Bill.
of him to be stupid.
It's nitpicking and being stupid.
It's
You're
using
saying,
the
you're
scientific
saying that
method.
there's a molecular level in between us, and we're actually not touching. But well, the perception of us is still there. The perception of the touch is still there, whether we're actually touching or not. You're nitpicking and being stupid. Move on.
Okay, so answer this question then.
Okay,
If you think I'm nitpicking and being fucking stupid,
continue.
you want to get petty, let's get petty, bitch.
Let's get petty.
I'm not touching you.
If you were the only person alive,
That sucked.
you wouldn't, or if you were the only thing alive and
Okay.
able to perceive something, you would not be able to say with certainty that you exist.
Exactly.
So what?
Agreed.
So what if we
100%.
don't all exist and we're all just a chemical composition made up in our own minds to give us some sort of assurance of a life when there's nothing?
This is where my second
Right. How do any of us know anybody else exists besides ourselves?
that's the second point. Is like you can't 100% certain know that I exist.
No, that's fair. And if all this conversation is happening just in my head, then
Feel pretty
cool
real.
beans, because I'm confused as shit.
Bill's
I'm having a
So
conversation.
clearly, Bill and I are in the same realm of reality because I'm confused as fuck and he's confused as shit. So we're at least somewhere along the lines of
We're-
neighbors.
Yeah, like fucking.
We're neighbors again.
What if reality is all just like a giant Venn diagram? Everybody's just a little circle that overlaps another little circle, and another
Well, I
little
mean, that's-
circle, and another little circle.
I personally think I'm
I've been there and
too
seen
sober
that
for this
too.
I'm not even tripping, and I'm thinking of this shit. Holy fuck!
No, in all seriousness, though, you can't prove that anybody else is conscious and actually alive. Like whoever's
But
listening to this
without
episode.
being able to prove that they're alive, how can they succinctly prove that you're alive?
Okay, on that basis,
If
I'm
I
just
can't-
gonna take it as like fact that everyone else is alive. Because if I can't do that, then what makes reality worth reality?
And who the fuck are we talking to? See what he did there?
Ourselves. But anyways, I was just gonna say, like, that's why, like, it's just as possible that DMT reality is base reality that it is that this is base reality.
No, because you can't share touch in the DMT realm.
So far as you know,
As far as you've experienced.
What if you put two
Any
people
research.
starcast naked in a room together and both give them DMT?
They still don't meet in the DMT realm. They can share a trip, but they don't meet physically.
What
like
if they
we
can
do.
meet each other's meat and trip at the same time? Then they're meeting.
you know. Actually, come to think of it, as far as meeting in the DMT realm, I recall a story from a comedian. So I'm not sure if it's a true story, but he was talking about tripping on DMT and doing it multiple times and knowing this particular being. Call her Nancy, whatever.
Nancy.
He's seen this particular Nancy several times in his trips, right?
Okay.
So he goes to a buddy's house. The buddy's never tried DMT before. He's like, I want to try it. All right, here you go. Guy's never talked about Nancy to him before. Kid goes in, sees Nancy, comes out of it, says, oh yeah, I ran into a friend of yours in there. And the kid told him that he supposedly ran into his friend Nancy, and it just blew his fucking mind. So how do you know that there is no way for us to experience?
We can't experience it jointly together. We can't log in and play multiplayer.
Can we have an episode where I monitor all three of you
That's
on
what they
DMT?
tell you, though.
I'm game.
You guys have to take it all at the same time together.
We have to go to a legal state.
From personal experience, yes. None of us can 100% say you can meet up with anybody.
From all the research I've done on it too, I've never heard, and I've actually looked for that because I was curious about it. Because I've had this exact conversation in my head before.
Okay, I'm just.
No, you're cool. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I haven't come across the research.
And let alone
I'm not any fucking scientist.
What
first,
though?
even if it is possible, it would still probably be ridiculously fucking hard because of the vastness of the space.
Hold on. Brings into mind Jonathan Royal. So the three of you all take DMT at the same time. You're all laying down. You have your eyes closed. You're listening to the sound of my voice. You guys are reaching for each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like
You're
coaching
kinda
and goading and trying to hypnotize you guys to almost help link the passage on into your trip.
Link the
Holy
conscious-
fuck! Let's get some funding.
Don't tempt me with a great time.
Link our consciousnesses, link our consciousnesses on takeoff.
Might actually be fucking possible, though.
That would be fucking
so-
wild. That'd be a breakthrough in science right there.
I would drop this mic right now, but Bill would kick my ass.
We need to get a fake mic for a drop.
That's a great idea.
That's a new studio idea.
Grab
Son of
the
a
hammer,
bitch, I'm
hammer
in.
drop.
Okay.
But no, like when people say they've never been psychologically or however you want to word it, able to link with another person tripping, I think that is solely based on the fact that you're taking coincidental trips that have happened in separate times, different locations, and nobody has tried to bridge the gap. What if Chim right now were to start tripping on DMT and I would make him seek me out by speaking to him and helping link?
Well, so if you also took DMT, you wouldn't be able to speak.
Not
No, I'm saying like
necessarily.
me not take it and him take it.
But
You could almost at that point
It's
psychologically
Yeah, you're
control the
going-
level of somebody's.
You're going for like a guided meditation, and the thing is, it might work, but we don't know. As far as I'm aware, there's been no studies on that.
False. There's been studies in multiple different.
How did Matt become the DMT expert all
Yeah,
of a
what
sudden?
you-
What the fuck?
Native Americans,
False.
5
No.
minutes ago, I'm clueless.
the Chinese, Native Americans,
What?
Norse cultures, they would all take psychological or
psychoactive.
psychedelic. There we
Yeah.
go. Psychedelic and hallucinogenic properties to go on these journeys. Okay, and
Fine.
like you would seek out your spiritual advisor, so to speak.
Yeah,
So you're talking like a spirit walk.
On mushrooms, sure, totally doable, fine. DMT is so different, though, Maddie. It's so hard to just like.
But have you tried it on DMT?
No, and I don't think anyone
Okay,
has.
so
That's
then
why I'm-
how do you know that
Quit
would
putting
lead-
your finger up, motherfucker! I'll come over there and break that shit,
It's
bitch.
the non-existent Italian in me. Forget about it.
fucker.
I get animated. It's
Yeah,
all
Wag,
well,
right.
wag,
the
wag,
fucking Italian in me wants to break that fucking thing. Yeah, fuck you.
Hey, fuck you.
But no,
I'm just saying, like, no, it hasn't been done as far as I'm aware. Could it be done? Maybe. We would have to test it out, and maybe. But as of right now, a lot of people have taken DMT, and no one has brought it up.
sounds like y'all need a motherfucker like me leading a study.
Oh God, that's scary.
That's very scary.
But you know, possible Sure, but as of right now, in our reality, we can share this reality. It's easy. It's doable. Everyone does it on a daily basis. We do it by listening to other people talk. We do it by looking at other people. We do it by feeling other people. We share a reality. Is that possible with DMT? As of right now, it's unknown. That's why this is the base reality.
We need to well, I mean,
See,
I feel like we really need to test this now.
see, I
can see where you're coming from, but
really,
but even if you perceive this as your base reality, it could still not be base reality. It's
You got to also remember, Bill, our senses are very, very, very limited in this base reality.
so imagine all three of you are currently like close your eyes for a minute, guys. I'm gonna try something. It's probably not gonna work. No, really.
All right. One thing real quick. Bitch, we have more senses than any other sense you've ever felt in your fucking life. You can't have more senses than what we have. You can't be more sensitive than the fucking sensitiveness that
We
you
can
have.
see
What the fuck?
Right now, man, we're about eight. We're about 8 senses
2%
shy
of
of
the
a
light
dime,
spectrum.
man.
We can only hear a fraction of audible noises.
How?
Bro, you got dogs and you've had dogs your whole life. You know they can hear a dog whistle. You
Okay.
can't.
And you know that sound wave exists, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, you perceive that sound wave.
Different animals biochemically brains are biochemically.
I need
linked
specialized instruments to be able to perceive that sound wave. That
Therefore,
means
you can perceive the sound
my
wave.
little brain and meat suit
See.
cannot perceive it without some sort of aid.
he's not perceiving it.
I'm observing it through
Okay.
mechanical
You-
means.
okay, so you can observe that.
He's
sound
not
wave
even
is-
observing it either. Like technically, all he does is blow a magic fucking whistle.
We're never going to be able to
As
be
far
more
as-
sensitive
as far-
than we currently are.
As far as your senses are concerned, all you're doing is blowing a fucking magic whistle,
We're
and you
never-
can't tell me otherwise.
We're never going to be able to be more sensitive than what we currently are.
But that's not
Says
true.
a guy who completely believes in AI or not, but
that-
cybernetic augmentation.
That's not true
that are
because you've
gonna
done
allow you to do
mushrooms,
all
and
kinds
when you
of
Hold
take
on.
mushrooms, it expands your fucking range.
No. Yes, but no. Okay.
that there is no yes, but
what's
no.
what's the difference of adding a fucking looking at a computer screen and adding a fucking electronic eye? It's the same fucking thing. It's not actually you. You're never going to be able to be more sensitive than what we currently are.
All I'm saying is I remember echolocating with some bats one time when I was on some mushrooms.
That's fair. That
And that
happened.
definitely was an expansion on the normal human range, and you can't tell me otherwise.
And the weird
Blind
part is
people learn how to echolocate.
that was a shared trip because I did the same thing that night. Go, Maddie.
I was gonna say, like, if the three of you were to close your eyes, and I get you to focus on your breathing.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
Butthole.
I'm coming back to you, Bill. God damn it.
Listen to the sound of my voice and focus on breathing deeply into your core. I don't know if I'm going to do this. I can't take myself seriously. All right, fuck it. We're not going to give up. I'm going to start laughing about like 2 minutes into
All
this.
right, back.
But like, if we were
Back.
to take somebody that is like Jonathan Royal, for instance,
Clinically trained to
clinically trained to help you meta focus by tuning out your surroundings, making you focus on your breathing. And okay, it's now saying we're standing in a meadow. Focus on the sound of my voice. Focus. Focus. You can hear me. Follow the sound of my voice to the center of the stone circle that is in front of you. Feel the wind.
So now I feel like that's just subliminally implanting us, though.
However, if you have a numerous amount of people or a number of people, take you 3 for example, they would be taking that substance at the same time and having this person
Give us the same exact subliminal messaging.
no. Well, in a
basically
sense,
he's saying he's trying to plot coordinates for us to all enter at the same point.
yes. Because if you guys are focusing on the sound of my voice and you're listening to the direction, being coach is the wrong word.
Which, by the way, would totally bug
Well,
me.
no,
the fuck
coach
out.
would be the right word. I think you're going for.
Like not only could you guys probably picture me standing in the center of a stone circle in a meadow, you guys would then be able to link with each other.
Yeah, but dude, you've never taken DMT. You don't know. It's not.
So the
You
senses
can't
thing.
navigate it like
No,
that,
no, no.
man.
Shut up. The senses thing. Okay. You're saying we're
Whoa,
not going to
we're
have.
not interrupting Matt's point.
We're not.
So no, this is the exact point that I'm making. With you taking that substance, you're eliminating one of your core senses, and you're now relying on your other senses. Sense, touch.
You can't with DMT.
Smell.
It doesn't work like
Hearing.
that, bro.
Has anybody ever tried?
Bro, it did.
Has that? But the thing, if nobody
Take DMT and
No.
you'll understand.
if nobody has ever tried, you
You
don't
can-
know that it's not actually possible.
Right. I
Magic.
mean, the thing is though, like, especially with the more potent psychedelics, people always usually have a setting intention when they are going.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not navigatable.
Navigable.
Navigable. Thank you.
That we know of.
Not like that, dude. I mean, they're doing long-term short drip studies and like.
Well, let's think about it. So far, the longest
So
they've
they're
done
not
is
doing
an
it
hour.
correctly.
So far, the
Not
longest
doing it correctly, says the guy who's never fucking done it.
Well, I'm kind of with him because so far the longest they've done is an hour. When you were born, what could you do within an hour?
Pee myself.
Because you
just-
can't even. No,
you're-
I'm just saying.
it's-
I'm just saying though. You can't.
What does the being born have to do with anything? You're just pulling random fucking time frames out.
Because when you come into this world, this reality,
Right.
as a baby, what the fuck can you do within an hour?
What does being a baby have to do with anything?
You experience
When you go
DMT.
into fucking the DMT?
They think you
No,
experience
no,
DMT.
I'm saying when you trip on DMT,
Okay.
it's basically like you're getting thrust out a fucking vagina, is it not?
Okay, but what does being a baby have to do with it?
Can you
The
remember?
fact that
Oh, you're saying that you're a baby in the DMT realm.
precisely.
Well, fucking elaborate, you
I was trying
cocksucker.
and you're just yelling at me.
because you're not making sense, and Matt was pointing fingers at me. I'm all fucking agitated now. All right, what, John? What?
So yeah, like
So you're just saying the senses are never going to be better than they are, but you guys are just talking about mushrooms that heightened your sense of echolocation. So your fucking sense
No,
of
we were
hearing.
tripping on mushrooms, and we thought we were echolocating with bats. We weren't fucking echolocating with bats. We were tripping on mushrooms. The fuck, Jonathan?
but it really seemed like I was echolocating with bats.
However, but the plausibility.
So in that moment, for that reality,
Well,
that split time in reality, we had greater senses and we were echolocating with bats. At least to us, because your reality is how you perceive it, and we perceived that we were echolocating with bats.
regardless of the hallucinogenics and the psychedelics or whatever, again, I say blind people have taught themselves to echolocate. A lot of people have taught themselves to heighten specific senses for certain reasons. There's no saying, and what's to say that your senses aren't limited to
Okay.
to
Okay.
different setting as other people's? Like
Let
they
me-
say, the redhead people
Let me rephrase it.
have extreme
And his colorblind
pain.
ass really knows he does have
Tolerances.
limited senses.
Right, exactly. Like,
Rephrase
there's
this.
different variances.
Your senses are never going to get better than what the human senses can become.
Not true, because there are chemical studies going on right now by utilizing the damaged frontal cortex
argue with Billy
of
Day?
war
Yes.
fighters.
How do you
Billy
like
just
it,
wants
bitch?
to be right, and we're
Hold
not
on, no,
going to let him.
I'm actually about to make a factoidal
You're
reference.
a fucking factoidal on my asshole right now.
They're doing studies by using frontal cortexes of brains of living warfighters that have been damaged, that have a hard time with the concept of being able to hold on to reality now, and using psychedelics to rebuild those neural pathways that have actually proven scientifically to allow those people to be able to repair their senses and function as a normal individual. So if you lose those senses, by what you're trying to say, that you will never gain.
No, that is not what I said at all. You can't become better than what humans can become. That's what I'm
And-
saying.
That's also false still.
How?
Evolution.
Neuralink.
Then we're no longer humans, and then it's no longer humans. We're cyborgs.
Oh, we stop. Okay. Okay.
So,
And then
okay.
And then we're no longer Homo
All right,
sapiens
so now I
or
understand
Homo
it.
sapiens or whatever.
All of Bill's argument right now narrows down to humans in this time and this time only. That's it.
that
Period.
is what I said. I never said anything otherwise. I said your senses cannot become better than what the human senses are. They won't. You will not evolve.
Not in my lifetime, no.
Right.
But I don't understand
Neuralink
your
is the
argument.
closest we can become.
I really want to say false
I know you do, but why?
because you can adapt to a colder or warmer climate. That's microevolution, sir.
Adaptation.
I'm going to throw John at you
Hey,
in about 5 seconds.
Adapt.
Swear to God,
Or
if I get hit by
die.
another human body, I'm gonna be pissed.
Adapt, overcome, survive, motherfucker. Okay, that's what humans are great at.
Well, yes, I agree with that. But
So
as
then you
far
agree
as, like,
that your point is wrong.
no. No, as far as humans go, we cannot evolve past what humans are currently. So you yourself cannot evolve past what a human currently is. Your offspring might, but that's besides the point.
I never thought I would say this in my life. To back up Bill, though, with you saying adaptation, being to adapt to be able to live habitably in harsher climates, could arguably the sense that you lose certain senses to strengthen others. So you don't.
okay, but
so
you're
you
not-
don't become.
You don't
Shut up! I'm
You don't
fucking
lose
agreeing
your
with
fucking
you.
sense of touch because you move to the cold.
You could, depending on how cold.
And
it
I'm
is.
not talking about becoming superhuman and retaining all your senses and then some.
Chef hands exist, Bill.
Okay, but that is not you growing your senses past human capability.
No, it's the reverse, but
We as humans cannot become more than human and still be human. It's not possible. That's what makes us human. I don't know why this is an arguable point for you guys.
I was trying to agree with you, bitch.
I know you were, but it's like fuck, man.
I don't know, man. I've
I
seen
don't
some
even know
people
where
that
this
can run on
argument
all fours.
started anymore.
I've seen some people that can swing from trees.
But they're still humans, right?
Yeah, but they don't have the normal human senses because I sure as fuck can't do that.
Well, I can't run as fast as Usain Bolt, but it doesn't make him not
Can't
human
see all the
or
colors
me
I can
not
see.
Human. Yeah, but you can't see in a straight line either, motherfucker.
No, but I could get surgery too.
I could fucking get glasses to see colors. What the fuck?
Yeah, but that's not making you have a greater sense than what a normal human can be. That is just correcting the sense that you should have
It's-
to make you.
I'm agreeing.
Well, who's to
yeah.
say my senses aren't greater than the normal humans, motherfuckers?
Motherfucker, I've seen you look at two different things and still not look a motherfucker in the eye.
Precisely, because you're standing right between the two things I'm fucking looking at.
All right. All I'm saying is that our human senses cannot become more than what they currently
I swear
are.
to God, Bill, if you say that one more fucking time.
So what I'm saying is that our human senses.
But I think you can because you can do training and shit.
God.
Like,
I almost feel sorry for anybody that's going to listen to this episode.
I'm so sorry.
make sure you get nice and stoned, guys.
I'm not even that high. Fuck.
From at the Dude podcast, I would just like to apologize to all our listeners for having to listen to these fucking nimrods. But I'm glad that somebody shares in my pain of being the only sober individual on the show. Well, that fucking drink is really strong. I don't know how
you can
sober I
naturally
actually
select to
am.
cut your hair so your head's bald so you feel air currents better. Okay?
Avatar, my man. This is an Avatar. Okay.
love you guys.
I agree with you on a macro. Obviously, on a macro thing, it has to go generation to generation. But microevolution, we do exhibit. That's why we spread across the whole fucking planet.
Well, yeah, very much so.
I would argue, though, that in the state of the culture and the human race right now, that we are actually de-evolving and not actually involving.
Well, I mean,
We're not involving anything.
I meant evolve. Shut up.
Hold on. Well, I would have to disagree with you.
I was about to
completely.
say, like, I personally don't think de-evolution can be a thing.
Well, it's proven that it can be.
But I don't think it's de-evolution. They're
It's
just
regression.
mislabeling it.
It's just evolution in a different direction.
It's just evolution to better fit the environment.
I would agree with that. Now, where I disagree with you, Maddie, is we are breaking records in basically everything every year.
Sports-wise?
Whether it's sports, whether it's intelligence, whether it's books. I mean, we are constantly getting better at things.
Oh, the response I want to give.
Now, the
So-
masses might not be.
So, Bill, what is your definition of a human then? If we're constantly getting better, that means our
A Homo
senses
sapien.
are constantly getting better.
A Homo sapien.
I mean, actually, we're at the borderline.
But to
Where
argue,
is
that could only be
Yes,
your
we are.
misconceived generational architectural speaking of what you perceive. See where we're going?
Basically, in 300
Oh, yeah, I know where
years,
you're
we're
going.
going to be in the time period that we're like, yeah, somewhere in this period, they went from being Homo sapiens to Homo sapiens sapiens.
I think we're already in that period.
That's
to be
what I'm saying,
honest.
like, we're-
I think we're in that 1,000-year gap right now. Our bodies have evolved considerably in the past 50 years. I
I
mean,
know mine's gotten rounder.
if you look at a house that was built 100 years ago, the door frames were considerably smaller.
People,
I mean, look at my house.
people
bro.
on
It was
average
built in
were
the
like
40s.
5 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that has also been proven to be due to malnourishment.
Lead
Okay.
paint. No, but people like hundreds of years leading up to.
Was it malnourishment, or was it just the fact that we need more nourishment now?
More brain power.
More brain power.
mass.
Yeah, more mass, more fucking everything.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
We expend more energy than they did back then.
Yeah, and we also use more energy than they did back then, outside of the physical form. I mean, I think we have begun evolution in a new way, and a different direction than we were taking for the past probably 1,000 years. I mean, people were getting smaller and smaller, and then all of a sudden, as soon as we were able to get protein, malnourishment, which is, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying they didn't need that nourishment, whereas our generation, our evolution needs more
as we
nourishment.
got
Our
that
present
nourishment.
time has a demand for it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
as they got the nourishment back then, they started evolving to need that nourishment and grow larger. And
Exactly.
then need more
But also,
nourishment.
too, if you look out into our solar system, to the way the planets shift and all that, that has, due to the gravitational pull of everything like that, has an effect on every living being on a planet. So the more you start to shift in space, and the farther or closer things get, it has direct influence upon life on the planet. So one might be able to argue that if we take a look outside of our spatial gravitational thing, we look into space, the changing of the environment that is in space with the shifting and the moving of the planets, the moon, those kinds of things, that could be a resulting factor as to why we were smaller, now larger, and now we're seeing an intermix
I
of
think
everything
from a
else.
scientific standpoint, though, humans haven't been around long enough to experience any sort of drastic changes due to the astronomical setup of our solar system. It hasn't changed in hundreds of thousands of years, for all we know.
Yes and no. I mean, that's
Not enough to affect us.
I mean, not to get too woo-woo out of all the shit we've been talking about, but that's what astrology
We're
is.
known for woo-woo.
I'm just saying that's what astrology is.
Okay, no, see, now you're talking star signs and shit. He's talking about like
Astronomy.
actual planetary effects on the body.
What do you think astrology is, my man?
Astronomy. Astrology is the stars. Astronomy is planets, where astrology
No.
is
Ast-
Google's.
I'm not getting up to get my computer, and astrology is planets as well, bud.
If I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Hold on.
okay. But either way, it's the planetary and astrological signs, or like it's how space affects you when you were born and what day it is. Like that's all you guys are talking about. You're talking about
No,
astrology.
I'm not talking about that. I think that's
Astronomy is the branch of science that studies everything outside of Earth's atmosphere.
Okay.
Astrology is the non-scientific practice of using the positions of celestial objects to explain or predict human behavior.
Right.
They are different.
That is
Okay.
exactly what you just said. Using astronomical objects to describe human behavior.
He was just
No,
saying.
he was talking about planetary effects on our evolution, like the planets.
I mean,
That is
Gravitational
literally
pull
what he
and
just
shit like that.
described.
but that's still basically
That's
astrology.
astronomy.
It's astrology.
Astronomy is science. Astrology is feelings.
Astronomy? No. Astronomy is the study of what those planets are doing. Astrology is what people think those planets are doing to us as humans. You described astrology.
Which I can't. I don't know.
That's why I said it's woo woo.
I understand where Maddie's coming from.
I do understand where Matt's coming from, but
I think he's thinking more like the tides, how the moon affects the tides, kind of deal, physically.
No, it's not. It's a form
yeah, but
of
that's astrology also affects physical things.
Is astrology affecting the tides?
Not the tides per se, but he's saying human evolution. It affects humans. Astrology.
I don't
would be
think
the
he
affecting-
means like on the intellectual or spiritual level or like that,
again,
though.
I'm agreeing with you. Fine. But astrology is the effect of the planets on humans. That's where you're
the wow, fucking words. Holy shit. The astronomical theory of paleoclimates aims to explain the climatic variations occurring with periodicities lying between tens and hundreds of thousands of years. Such variations are recorded in deep sea sediments, ice sheets, So you can take those effects from the shifts and the changes astronomically, and you can have a direct correlation in which the human species has evolved.
Well, yeah, but then you also got to take into effect like comets and shit hitting the Earth, and then
You got to take into
Younger
effect too
Dryas
that humans
period.
weren't there. then.
Technically, but yeah.
So far as we know,
Right.
scientifically recognized, even though we all know better.
Yeah, but as like polar climates shift and
You
all
think
that
people
changes,
You think people
have
rode
to
dinosaurs, John?
evolve.
People weren't alive back then.
No, I don't think people have been around for millions of years, but
The time period
a couple
you
tens of
just
thousands maybe.
described, people didn't exist. So, like, where I'm agreeing with you is that I think, like, what you're saying is that planets moving around us, having pulls on our gravity, has effects on us as humans. That would be the astrology that I was talking about. Physical effects, mental effects, emotional effects, whatever the fuck they are, they're effects. It's still astrology.
The heavier air can be, the smaller and more dense matter has to be to sustain in that. So the lighter and lighter that becomes, the less dense is allowed to flourish.
I would absolutely love to know how your mind works some days. I'm so confused on how you got on the air.
That's an environment thing.
Which can be a direct result of astronomical changes in space.
Yeah, if a fucking meteor hits and fucking blows our ionosphere to shit.
I don't know. We've gotten on a fucking tangent of whatever, but anyway, that's
we've-
the kind of like
We've got
point
on like
I was trying to make.
17 tangents
Yeah,
tonight.
we're
back, baby.
I don't think we've touched.
You say what I'm
Our
talking
main
about.
topic
But
at
astronomical
all.
means is stupid. I think your DMT bullshit might be stupid. But hey,
I never said your shit was stupid. I never disagreed with you. I just called it astrology, and you got fucking butthurt, like hard. Hard. You were like, it's not. I'm not a woo woo girl.
whoop whoop, tricked you.
Jesus.
You got a crystal collection, Maddie?
I sort of used to. Different.
Okay.
It wasn't really crystals though. It was different types of sedimentary rocks and stuff like that.
It's
Oh,
all
a
coming
rock
out
collection.
to the open. Yeah, he was this little fucking dwarf sitting in his room.
This one's pretty.
I used to find a fascination with how different forms of energy impacted different types of chemical makeups.
So you had a bunch of rocks and you set them on fire and electrified them, didn't you?
It's
A
good
little
sometimes.
bit. A little bit.
But no, like it goes back to me having that level of belief in how energy can impact things. Like, for example, I was a big believer of my tiger's eye being able to harness and absorb different forms of negative energy. Could I be completely fucking wrong? Sure. But from my personal experiences and seeing how that and like the energy coming from me would impact those things, I have that level.
Now you're starting to sound
Interest
like,
and
Yeah, you're a crystal girl.
yeah, something.
Something.
Something. Well, I'm thinking like I know where
It's
he's
okay.
getting, but I'm
really is a
thinking
crystal girl too, dude.
I'm thinking
I
more
totally get
like how
I can pick
it
what
was like
bathroom I use.
ancient Japan or something. They used hematite or some sort of metallic looking rock, and they'd put it in their sandals or some shit, and it was supposed to provide longevity and shit like that. Like the rock would have effects on your body placed in different parts on your feet.
Well, I mean,
Well, first and foremost, there's a lot of pressure points in your feet.
Right.
And hematite can be polished to a very, very smooth stone, so I could see them using like very smooth hematite stones for like applying pressure points throughout the day while they're walking and shit.
Man, that would be a bitch of a sliver to get in your foot.
piece of hematite. Oh yeah. Now it made me think of like if you have a bruise and you wrap it and you put a piece of silver in like against the bruise, it'll heal faster.
But at the same time, if you have a bruise and you wrap it, you can cause rapid inflammation to make that worse.
Yeah, if you wrap it too tight.
It's all about knowing how to dress your wound.
So pressure can positively and negatively impact us.
Yeah.
Bend over.
And pressure is
I'm gonna
what?
show you some
Talking to the
pressure.
wrong guy.
And pressure is what, Maddie?
bro.
Huh?
You're lucky I have nothing to throw at you right now, because I would.
Come on, that is the second good zinger I've let fly today.
You get one. One.
But I like even numbers.
Nah, you're going to get 2 punches. That's what you're going to get.
Two black eyes.
Yeah, you like even numbers.
Brutal. Oh man. I don't know. Everyone's been really fucking at it tonight.
Yeah, it's
Something in the fucking air, I tell you.
We all gotta yell at Jimmy. Jimmy, say something.
why? Why do you gotta yell at me?
Fucking
Shut your
Jimmy.
mouth.
It's always fucking
you.
Jimmy.
I like your beard.
It usually is me. What do you want? I like to stir the pot. Okay.
Hey, it's Chim Chim. It's fucking Chim Chim.
This fucking guy. Speaking of Chim Chim, how's the stream been, bud?
It's all right.
Yeah, I seen you got a couple of reels out this week.
Nice, buddy.
Yep.
Been trying to get back to doing that, and
It's good. It's good to see.
it's
Man.
just hard because I want to like. Well, I figured out the time dilation shit, so that's cool.
the what?
Time dilation. Oh, so you know how to
On
play with
my
the
video, yeah. So I can
slow
like,
it and speed it
yeah,
up?
Yeah.
That is nice.
That'll help.
Thought you were talking some Back to the Future shit. I was very confused.
I feel like if there's
So
any
time
group,
is very relative. That's like
What
I mean,
were you
if
gonna
you-
say, Matt?
I feel like if there's any group that could create a fucking time machine, it would be us because we're too fucking stubborn
Yo,
to not want to like make that happen.
where would we go first?
Bro,
All seriousness, if we had a time machine available to us right now, where would we go first?
well, it depends. There's a couple of different schools of thought on that.
did you see us try to put this studio together?
And look how fucking awesome it is.
Okay, disregard our knowledge of anything like that. If we just had one available to us and someone gave us the keys and said, here you go wherever the fuck you feel like.
Well, technically, you would only be able to go forward in time.
All right, let's take all the technicalities out of it. Fucking total magic. We can go anywhere we want. You physically can.
I'm going back and buying Google stock.
All right.
So Jimmy's not going that far.
You
Okay.
physically cannot interact with the world. You can only view it.
You can only observe.
Yep. Actually, more than just view. You can fully observe all senses.
I don't want to set it in a
I'm
time
going to
lapse.
find somebody to trip balls and have
Why
them
you got to
buy.
interrupt Maddie for the 30th time tonight?
You know what? How's it feel? Everybody always interrupts me. Fuck y'all.
I would want it, if to look at it from that perspective, I'd almost want to set the time machine in kind of like a time lapse. So that way you could go to the creation of when everything originally formed.
You can't start the
You
fucking
want a
thing with
general
going through
overview? No.
Matt's fired.
No.
Jimmy, your turn. Oh my god, dude.
You know,
I
where
wanna
would I?
start-
Dude,
you
that's
know
a
what?
tough
Think about
question.
how cool
to
that-
honestly answer that, like, I'm torn between going 1,000 or 2 in the future, because it'd be fucking dope to see like what becomes of us, like even if we turn to dust, whatever.
I was gonna say,
You know what I'm saying?
Planet.
Or like way back, like I'd probably say Big Bang.
Ooh,
If I could.
Ooh, he's going way back. All right.
He wants to be
Like I want to see, like, yeah,
see creation,
either see creation or see where we are in a few thousand years.
and then be like, if it is dust, well, at least I won't be missing much.
You got a serious answer?
No, I actually was being serious. So like I've always had an interest to try to like actually see how like things have changed over the natural course of history. So starting from like how things started and gradually go through time to see the formation and the changes and the impacts that it's had on the world, I think would actually be really, really cool.
That's a cheating answer.
Well, they have documentaries for that.
That's a cheating answer. You got to pick one time.
Watch Cosmos, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Serious. You want to see that whole bang to where we are? There you go.
Seriously, it's a good recommendation.
It's actually a really good show.
And somebody smart enough to fucking know what the fuck they're talking about.
And cool enough to break it down to dummy terms that you can actually understand.
He does do a good job with it, and he's got a great voice. Do you got an answer?
I'm probably gonna have to agree with Chim, either all the way to the beginning to see how the fuck it came to be, or a couple thousand years in the future see what becomes.
I would definitely like the start of Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see how that started.
Or you know what? I'll add one more to that list of things. To a couple things is, if there is such a point as a actual true golden age of humanity, I would want to see that.
Yeah, it's right now, dude.
Nah, it can't be right now. There's no fucking way it is. No fucking way.
It's not the.
Have you seen the world today, Bill?
It's not the completely lighted room that's as bright as the sun in a basement at nighttime.
Well, I mean, Atlantis had all this shit. They had more than this shit. So
With a screen that can project images and sounds of whatever we damn well
And
please.
small devices.
yeah, but
that
look at Star
record
Trek.
our-
Star Trek would be considered a more golden age than this if we get to Star Trek level.
But we're not.
You-
So
Are
as
you
of
sure?
right, so as of right now, we are in the golden age.
No,
To
we're in the
our
newest
understanding.
age, it's not
To
necessarily
our-
golden.
Bill, to our limited human sense of understanding,
Yes.
Are you-
this
So-
is our golden age.
Yes.
Are you saying? Are you
I'll
saying
agree
that,
with you there, but I'm talking more of a universally conscious.
Hold on, I got at least one more sus on Bill tonight. Okay,
Go ahead, get it.
with all the comic book media and shit we got going nowadays, is this the golden age of comics?
The golden age of comics?
Yes,
Well, yes. Why wouldn't it be?
because it's not.
Why?
The golden age of comics is when comics first became popular,
Why would you say that?
because that's what it's defined as.
Do all of those comics that existed during that time period still exist?
A good chunk of them.
Do new comics exist?
Yes.
So then we're currently in the golden age because
No,
all
because the
those
writing's
ones-
not as good.
because all those
No.
comics exist and we have new ones, whether it's worse or better. There's those and these.
Doesn't mean it's the golden age.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
So we're
Golden-
gonna have
golden-
to say golden age is relative to one's opinion.
No, so technically, if you look at the term from Gold Age, when it's referred to take like civilizations. The golden age is usually the peak in which that civilization is at right before it falls.
We're still peaking.
Right, so we're not in the golden age yet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Still peaking.
Still peaking. Sounds a bit delusional.
And you know the thing about implying about a golden age too is that usually, you know, it's followed by a silver age and then a bronze age.
Well,
Our-
technically,
our
no. If you
soc-
go back and look at civilizations, Bronze Age is
Is it
usually
really? Holy fuck.
So,
yeah, I'm thinking
so I'm
about
Bronze,
talking like
silver,
in
gold.
reference to media and comics and stuff like that.
Well, not even that, but it,
Usually it goes the other way.
I'm just saying our society still exists. Fully exists.
when did the Roman
here.
Empire fall?
a long time ago.
Yeah. What was it? The Bronze Age?
No.
Or was it beyond?
That was
Well, I know it was gonna be after the Bronze Age, so it was iron and shit.
Romans had iron.
Yeah. So it was Iron Age, not Bronze Age.
I'm just trying to think of your Golden Age, the Silver
Well,
Age.
it's
the
just
Bronze Age.
that's how we do it in media. That's what I'm saying. Like usually, because I'm guessing probably because of nostalgia. It's you look upon your golden years when you're older too. You know what I'm saying? It's always in the past.
Thanks for that reminder, Chim.
Sorry,
I guess.
am I wrong?
No, I like to think of my best years are still ahead of me. I
Well,
definitely think,
I'm
I
just,
definitely think
but
that.
you know what I'm saying though.
No, I
like,
get it. I'm just fucking with
So
you.
like let's look at it this way. The golden age of Rome is only the golden age because Rome fell, correct? And our modern society still exists. So we are as golden as our golden age can ever get until it falls.
But
if we're consistently progressing, but I don't know. If you
so yeah,
consider
that's what I'm
we're-
saying. Like
If what we've been doing the last decade or so consistently progressing,
if we plateau is when we enter a golden age.
so you would think that right now we're at the height of
Does
our
that make
power.
sense, Bill?
yeah, that makes sense.
So when we stop evolving, we're at our golden age, and then the fall happens.
I would say that to your question, Maddie, what do you mean by power?
So another characterized reference when speaking of the golden age of something is Rome was at its golden age and the height of its power, and then they fell. So like,
So
I would
are we-
argue that the golden age would be the height of what your existence is before some form of
catastrophe,
catastrophe or cataclysmia that happens.
Then
cataclysmia.
yes, it would
I don't know
still
if
be
that's an
it
actual
would
word,
still
but
be
it's
the
not a
same
book.
answer because we haven't started to fall yet, or we haven't plateaued. We are technically still advancing, whether it's in electronics, whether it's in
Understanding
million-
of everything that's the fuck
Yeah.
around us.
we are still growing, so we have not began that decline yet. So yeah, we're as golden as we can ever get. We're golden, pony boy. Well, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
That's
a good
the
book.
thing though is
Outsiders,
we're
one of my
not though
favorite.
because we're not plateauing yet.
Right.
So when you hit that plateau, it's golden age,
Okay, so what are we in now? The growing age?
the progressive age.
Sure, I'll agree with that then. If that's what we want to call it. Yeah.
Progressive.
That's probably what it'll be labeled, something like that.
Yeah, the progressive age. Sure. Totally agree with that. I don't think you sussed me. I think we're
it's
agreeing
not
to call it
golden
something
age,
different.
sir. That's all I'm saying. Because golden age implicates
Can I borrow this for a second?
a plateau and or a fucking.
Fucking here.
Here, Bill, I got you.
What?
I don't know. At this point, I would agree with John that the reference and the belief of anything being in such and such golden age is solely based off of your perception. I think John is on that.
Sure. I would agree with that.
I think Bill's about done.
Sure. I would agree.
That was my cue when you said it the second fucking time.
Yeah, folks, just the tip.
What's the matter, Billy? You weren't the most confrontational one tonight.
I was not. Dude.
He was
didn't-
not expecting all the
I wasn't-
sass.
I was not coming in expecting any sass.
He was
bro.
not ready for it.
I came in wanting to talk about fucking the Matrix theory.
Yeah.
I was ready
Aliens,
for it.
interdimensionals, and
All of a sudden, everyone was like, "You suck," and I was like, "My childhood." Yeah.
How could you call this the golden age if you watch Star Trek growing up? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Bro.
Because we don't exist to that point yet.
no, but we're getting ever closer.
Right. So we're as golden as we can get.
But nothing gold can stay, pony boy.
That's my point. So once it starts to decline,
Gold is still gold with a little bit of fucking dirt on it.
see? I mean, you can poop on gold and it's still gold.
Ask Elvis Presley.
gold is
Yeah,
only
but that's
as
still a shitty coin.
to me, gold is only as valuable as the people that put value into it. To me, it's just a fucking metal that comes from the ground and is plentiful around us.
Okay,
we know
okay,
how to
JP
acquire it.
Morgan.
If I were JP Morgan, I'd be fucking rich and coveting gold, all right?
I wouldn't.
But I
call
don't.
Gold is not
plentiful.
actually plentiful. We
We-
have such a finite resource of it. and
Do you
we're
know-
actually
I'm
dwindling.
talking astronomically.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Okay, so you're talking like out of this planet.
Not just this planet, the fucking planets around us, the fucking...
Okay, all right, that's fair. But do you know how much gold we've mined here on Earth? Like how much gold exists mined?
Not really, and I...
It's less than what would fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The entire Earth.
Who the fuck told you that?
Look it up.
I'm pretty sure before Switzerland took all of our golds, Fort Knox had more than that inside of it.
Telling you, look it up. There's less gold mined on this Earth than would fill an Olympic-sized swimming
I
pool.
feel like that's false information.
I really don't want to get up and get to the computer. God.
You did it to yourself.
I mean, yeah, no.
He found it
No.
on the internet. It must be true.
An Olympic-sized swimming pool, and that's it. You're telling me the De Beers Company can
You-
figure out how to find more rocks that are deeper around in the earth than the fucking gold that people have hanging around everyone's fucking necks and rings and toe rings and cock rings and this, that, and fucking gold here, gold there, gold plated here, gold plate. You tell me there's only enough gold to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool? Bullshit.
Jim or Bill.
Okay,
go
three
down.
and a half.
Three and a half
Three more.
Olympic-sized swimming pools.
That's a little bit more believable.
That's quite a bit more.
Sir.
I was
I
wrong,
still-
but still.
So
The
that-
Nevada
no.
mining resource. So that's one.
If you go down, it said, "What would all the gold ever mined fit into?"
And that's also in a liquid form.
No, down right there.
So that's believable. A lot more believable.
Still, dude, do you know how little fucking amount of gold that is? I was wrong. Okay, I was completely wrong, and I'm pretty sure I heard that on Joe
do the
Rogan,
math
so
on the
fuck
volume.
you, Joe
Do the
Rogan.
math on the volume of a fucking cube that is 23 meters on the side.
On every side.
Yeah, it'd be 48.250 metric tons of gold. Easy math. I don't know, dude. Like, there's not
go
that
to the
much.
phones.
Get off the phones.
I was gonna use the Googs.
Get off.
Everyone's calculating.
Get off.
I was literally using my calculator. So.
I don't care. I'll throw it out.
And just say 48,000 metric tons.
It's 48.250 metric tons.
That's
What?
just okay. Well,
What?
It's
What?
36,000 feet cubed, just to let you know. So like,
It's really not that much.
That's meters.
I broke it down to feet, sir. So it's over 36,000 feet of cubic volume
It's really
or
not. That's
cubic area.
How
less
much
than a
is it?
football field, isn't it?
36,000 feet, bro. A football field's 300 feet.
Cubed. I don't know.
36,000
getting-
feet. What's
I'm
the
just starting
I
to
don't
get
know.
confused.
Me
cubic
too.
footage of an Olympic swimming
Math
pool?
is not my strong suit, and you could say any numbers, and I'm just gonna be like, okay.
72.
Okay, there's
Okay.
5,280 feet in a mile.
Okay.
Does that help?
Okay.
Envision how big a 23 meter by 23 meter by 23 meter fucking cube, how much it could fit in it.
Okay.
Miles of gold, bro.
Do you understand that my brain can't process that at all?
No. And why does
Not even in the slightest?
My brain
Why do three
stopped
people own it?
comprehending a while ago.
That's the question there.
All right, everybody, have a good night.
That's
We're
to
out
me
of
is
here.
why it's worthless.
Bye.
See ya.
Sorry.